What was your biggest purchase you made as a rookie? Especially with you being the 12th overall pick, you signed a 4-year contract on your rookie deal for $14 million.
The biggest purchase I made that year was I bought my parents a house.
What did that tax bill look like on that W-2 though?
It wasn't pleasant. I think I did look at the W-2 and I was like, damn, why I gotta pay this much taxes? It was just like having that young mindset, not really being like smart with the money.
Honestly, at the end of the day, it's what it comes down to: financial education and understanding what your budget is allowed.
Man, they using the B word. Budget. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Robert here. Hopefully you enjoyed the intro. Those are some big human beings. First and foremost, let me say that. So, Ndamukong Suh and Vita Vea. If you were just to take a look at a picture, most of you would judge that book incorrectly. They're talking money and how they went about handling their signing bonuses when they both got into the league, and some of the things that they did with it. The reason I wanted to highlight these two gentlemen is because they're giving good game. They're giving good game. Secondly, a lot of us make the same mistakes, regardless of the commas, they're still applicable. Ndamukong Suh, not only was he a menace, an absolute beast on the football field, seems like he's the same way when it comes to business. And I got to thinking about what the difference is, not athletically, but the acumen. And a lot of professional athletes that, for whatever reason, squander off a lot of money tend to have been born here in America. And so what a lot of you may not realize, and I don't mean to speak down to you, but just because we have the same melanin doesn't mean that we're from the same culture or we have the same nationality or the same nation. And so Nigerian, they're very staunch about education and things of that nature, but very close knit as far as family is concerned. And then Tongan, Mr. Vea, same thing. So when the young man had an opportunity, he bought his family, his mom and dad, and probably his brothers and sisters are all going to live together in that home. And that's why it blows my mind that those of us that were born and raised here don't seem to have that understanding and that concept, again, regardless of the money. Because as you heard Ndamukong ask Vita a little later, well, how did those taxes hit on the W-2s? And a lot of us are W-2 employees. And if you've ever made any money via W-2, you know that somebody's going to be in your pocket as soon as you get that change. If you haven't, then just wait. I would recommend you being some type of entrepreneur if you're going to make big monies and learn how to play the tax game. I digress. The point is, a lot of these folks that come from different places understand, realize the blessings that we have here. Number two, the importance of real estate. Now, you don't have to do anything. It's your prerogative to do what you want to do. But success leaves clues. Now, if you don't want to buy and you don't believe in the power of ownership, well then, in my opinion, you need to have this type of mindset. Before we go further, I have a favor to ask of you. If you could take a few seconds, hit the like, subscribe, and that notification bell so that you're alerted when we drop content like this on the channel. It really helps out the channel, and I thank you.
Tell me why we pay $3,000 in rent and we don't own a house. People think $3,000 is outrageous, and why can't we buy a house?
Like a mortgage? It's not that I can't pay a mortgage. I can pay less on the mortgage because I know what they're getting at. I could pay less on the mortgage, but I also have to do maintenance and repairs on the house, right? Depending on the year of the house, right? It comes into play with maintenance. Plus, I got to pay taxes. So depending on where you're living and whatever area you're in, yeah, you got to pay the taxes. So to me, it's all about status. Either you gonna say that you own a house or, right? I don't care about owning a house, right? I care about not paying the taxes and not doing the maintenance and repairs. So if anything happens to this particular house that I don't own, I'll just call the owner. He'll fix it. As far as the taxes, I don't pay no taxes on the house. So anything that involves in, I don't. Right.
They
Plus,
think that
even when it comes down to moving, once the lease is up, just leave. And the owner has to deal with the
They
house.
think that $3,000 a month is too much, but what they don't realize is everybody around us that has mortgages is paying more than us.
Right. So it's a status thing. So what their the information that they've been given is that it's better to have a mortgage, but it depends on how you look at it. It depends on your income. It depends on how you manage your money. It depends on how you look at things. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, let's say you do own that house and you die. You can't take the house with you.
So yeah, see, that's the kind of energy you got to have if you are from the mindset that you can't take it with you. Y'all tell me this: what can you take with you when you die? People say that all the time, blows me, but I digress. He understands. They understand. I think that's his wife speaking with him. They understand what it is that they're doing, and you must understand what it is that you're doing. I like that. Because you shouldn't be tossed to and fro by what I think or anybody else, because I'm not paying your bills. So if you choose to rent, my only advice, unsolicited, although it may be, is to make sure that you have something in place for your future self. Because one thing I did hear him say is the rent is $3,000. And that's what a lot of you guys don't realize. That's where rent is going. The first interview with Indominic Sue and Vita Vey, if you want to go and check it out, I put the link in the description. But Vita Vey was saying that when, in essence, it's his turn to buy a home, he was shocked at what $1 million would get. Because we all do this, we look at things from our perspective, and a lot of us are still looking at things from 20, 30 years ago. And so when you were a kid, the dollar went further. Inflation is something that's in full effect. And so it's not until you get ready to spend $1 million and you realize that it's not what you envisioned in your mind based upon the past. Say all that to say this: understand the full matter. And if you've not come into a large sum of money, a big windfall, because you have some super extraordinary skill like a professional athlete or what have you, won the lottery, what have you, know and understand that inflation is real and it affects all of the dollars that we have. So know thyself, know where you come from. And if you choose to YOLO and enjoy yourself, that is your prerogative. But you shouldn't then get to crying, hollering, and maybe even begging on the mercy of your kids or whatnot if you chose to live your best life now. Not saying that's going to happen to this gentleman, and not saying that it won't happen to you if you do prepare. All I'm saying is you have to understand the full matter of everything that we do, and that's the spice of life. Here in these United States, you can choose to rent, you could choose to own, you can choose not to do nothing around here. To be honest with you, seems like checks are falling out of the sky. But I'll leave it here. When you make your bed, don't cry if you have to lie in it. Let's keep it moving.
I was 21 with no responsibilities, making $150,000 per year, living paycheck to paycheck. Here's my story on lifestyle creep. Just like any other college student, my goal was to get a high-paying job upon graduating. I was able to do this the semester before I graduated, and that's when lifestyle creep began. Before receiving my first paycheck, I decided to move out of my $700 per month apartment into a high-rise in downtown Dallas where I was spending roughly $2,200 per month. Shortly after that, I decided to sell my car that was paid off to buy a BMW. I know, who does that? Even with those bad financial decisions, I continued to make a plethora of other bad financial decisions until the point where I received a notification stating that my bank balance was negative. I'm thinking, I'm making $150,000 per year. house as possible. Turns out those small transactions add up. I say this, however, to say, as your income increases, your spending should not increase.
So shout out to the young man. Everybody ain't struggling. Not all young folks are crying. Some of y'all are getting to the money. So shout out to you. Number two, shout out to you again for realizing, see, we all have sinned and come short of the glory. We've all let lifestyle creep in and have us buying things that we shouldn't be buying. But a lot of us have not repented from the errors of our ways. So shout out to you for realizing it and changing what's going on, because it's easy to do so, especially coming from a position of not having anything. Again, I'm going to defer back to the first video because how you were raised is very important. The family unit that you have is very important. When you get older in life, especially if you've not had certain tangible things, material things, and you come into some monies, as he said, hey, I sold a paid for car for a car note. I went to live in a place that increased my monthly monthly payment by what did you say, $1,200, $1,300 a month. And the reason is why? Because a lot of us do things for a lot of other people. So you can do what you want. That's the theme here. You can do what you want, but you have to understand your future self may have to pay for it. And so shout out to you, young man. Let's see what this young lady is saying as we keep this party train moving.
Living debt-free or almost debt-free is fantastic, and I have a rule that a lot of people might not think would be a rule for debt-free living and how to get out of debt. And that rule is forget societal expectations. Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's just breaking you. I do not need to have the best and biggest house. I do not have to have the best and biggest car. I do not have to have the fanciest clothes, the purses, the makeup, the jewels, nothing. You know what? Because that doesn't define who I am as a person internally. It doesn't make me happy, and it's just keeping up with things that they don't matter. All of those flashy things do not matter. Birthdays and Christmases and Easters, I don't gift a lot to my kid because those are just societal expectations for absolutely no reason, honestly, and probably makes a lot of kids spoiled. Live within your means and your happiness. I am happy not having all of the things, and guess what? I don't spend money on all of the things because I don't need them. I don't need to keep up with anybody or anything. I don't need to press anybody. So stop living above your means for other people and what other people perceive of you, and do it for yourself.
Church. Man, I can hear the comments now. I know y'all gonna light it up, but before you get to slicing and dicing her, for those of you that want to slice and dice her, that's how she feels. Again, you can do what you want to do, but don't start crying and lamenting when your older self don't have what you need, and all them people that you were trying to impress aren't there to help you, because that's what will happen. So she's saying what's good for her. As my wife says all the time, you eat the meat and spit out the bones. So if it's not applicable to you, keep it moving. But if she's saying something that resonates in your spirit, if it's sizzling, hold on to that thing, right? And make the changes that you need to make. Because at the end of the day, the only person that you need to impress is yourself. What you're doing, you should do because it makes you happy and not other people. And if you can grasp that message, life will be much sweeter for you while we have it. Because as you know, it's fleeting. It's here today and it could be gone tomorrow. So shout out to you, young lady. Now, as we get ready to wrap this thing up, this is why, in my opinion, you do all of the things that we have watched in these videos before us, okay? And it excites me to no end when I see a younger person grasp the concept, because when I was that age, a lot in my 20s, I didn't have this information. I didn't have this knowledge. So that's why we come and bring these videos. That's why I come and bring the videos. I'm really trying to help those that want to get on the property ladder and just in life in general, because I see that it's needed for a lot of people. So let's see why we listen to all of these videos and these opinions and things of that nature, because this young man is going to bring it home for us. Check it out.
When I say being debt free is really like the cheat code to life, hear me out for a second. So I became debt free about 6-7 years ago. And when I say my life changed so much for the better, you will not understand. I'm talking, I'm coming from a guy, I ain't got no student loan debt. I ain't got no car payments, no credit cards, no nothing. And I still use credit cards, don't get me wrong, but I make sure that balance is paid off every single month. I don't have nothing carrying over at all. Nothing feels better when you receive your paycheck and you realize literally all the money is yours. Of course, you got like mortgage payments, like the rent, utilities, and all that and stuff of that nature. But other than that, the whole check is yours, man. You ain't got to put $500 to a car, $400 to a student loan. So I'm just saying, use this year to lock in and really just become debt free and really set yourself free financially. Because man, I'm talking, because I go from when I was paying off my debt, hey, I wasn't going out beans and rice like Dave Ramsey said. I was doing all that. So lock in now, because once you have no debt, realize you can travel more, you can invest more in your hobbies, you can really could just do what you want for real. I'm saying you're always gonna have responsibilities and hiccups in the road, emergencies, and that's where emergency funds come. But that's gonna be a whole other video. But I'm just saying, lock in, pay off that debt, man. You're gonna thank yourself later.
So there you have it, guys. I really tried to do a better job of giving a more rounded viewpoint, or viewpoints from each side, from home ownership to actually renting, to living beneath or at your means, or to living debt free. There are several ways that you could take a lick at the stick. Why I feel that this is necessary, because there's so much negative information out here, and the young folks, some of the ones that I have interaction with, are starting to get a little discouraged. So we want to encourage them. Home ownership is a great option if you can afford it, if you understand the full matter that it takes money to maintain your investment. You have to pay taxes, you have to pay insurance, and you're going to pay those things even if you rent. You just don't have the responsibility of the maintenance, and you can move around if you want to move around. If that's your lifestyle, go get it. That's what you can do. You don't have to do everything that everyone else is doing, but what you must do is this: you must be accountable for your life. And so understand the full matter of everything that we're doing. I'm even learning that at my big age. Okay. So as long as you're living, we should be learning. You guys get down in the comment section. If I missed something, let me know. If you can add to the conversation to help those that are behind us, that are coming our way, do so. Give some encouragement. It ain't all bad, but it ain't all good. So with that, there's opportunities. There's a responsibility on all of us to produce more. Okay. You can't just keep going to the well and nobody's pouring in. It don't work like that. So young folks, this too shall pass. It'll be fine, but you got to get productive. Older folks, you gotta stay nimble, because change is all around us and it ain't gonna change. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that's constant is change. So yeah, that's it. If I could be of assistance to anybody as it pertains to residential real estate, remember, I'm a lender. And so would love to have a conversation. My contact information is pinned to the top comment and or in the description of the video. No more talk. Y'all be blessed. Be good to one another. Let grace abound. And until the next time, indeed.